Welcome to the criminal imagination. Long before the invention of trench coats and magnifying glasses, long before the word detective even entered our language, there were crimes. And then there were stories about those crimes. It might surprise you to know that crime fiction, what we think of as murder mysteries, courtroom dramas, and detective sagas, has roots buried deep in ancient history. In Sophocles' Oedipus the King, written over 2000 years ago, we meet a ruler investigating a murder. He questions witnesses, analyzes evidence, and slowly uncovers the truth. He himself is the killer he's been hunting, a detective ruined by the very justice he pursues. From ancient Greece to the myths of Egypt, the pattern continues. In Herodotus' tale of Rhampsinitus and the Master Thief, an Egyptian king is tormented by a burglar who keeps slipping into his sealed vault. It's an ancient game of cat and mouse. Then there is Cacus, a monstrous thief from Roman myth who steals Hercules' cattle and hides them in a cave. But Hercules is no fool. He finds him and delivers brutal justice. In the book of Daniel, the story of Susanna gives us something rare in the ancient world, a false accusation. Two elders try to blackmail her, but a boy, Daniel, cross examines them and exposes the lie. Justice is served, modern, almost legal. Even in 1001 Nights, a tale called The Three Apples begins with a woman's dismembered body locked in a chest, floating down the Tigris. A vizier is tasked with solving the crime. Confessions follow, motives twist, and the killer revealed only at the very end. These aren't detective stories as we know them, but the tension, the puzzle, the pursuit of truth, they are already there. According to literary critic Svezan Todorov, modern crime fiction has a specific shape: two stories. The first is the crime, what happened. The second is the discovery, how we learn what happened. The detective follows cues and we follow them. In contrast, stories like Oedipus, Hamlet, or Scheherazade, they aren't about solving mysteries. They are about fate, power, tragedy. Crime is the trigger, but the journey is philosophical. So, where do the real roots of modern crime fiction begin? England, the 18th century. This is where stories meet systems: the courts, the gallows, the printing press. Daniel Defoe had been to prison. He knew the underworld. In Moll Flanders, his anti heroine steals, schemes, and barely avoids execution. Not a mystery, but raw, gripping crime. Henry Fielding, both novelist and a magistrate, skewered corrupt officials in Tom Jones. His world was filled with flawed justice and complex morality. Outside the court, public executions were spectacle. Crowds gathered, vendors sold pamphlets. True crime before the term existed. Biographies of criminals, confessions, blood, regret. The state tried to regulate it, issuing moral accounts through the Newgate calendars. But people did not want morality, they wanted drama, and writers delivered. Defoe wrote about real life thieves like Jack Shepherd, a charismatic burglar, and Jonathan Wild, the corrupt lawman who betrayed him. Fielding turned Wild into a satirical character. Suddenly, criminals weren't just villains, they were celebrities. In 1839, everything changed. William Harrison Ainsworth published Jack Sheppard. It wasn't just a retelling, it was a reinvention. Readers didn't know what would happen. Would he escape? Would he be caught? For the first time, suspense replaced certainty. This is what Todorov meant. Story 1, the crime. Story 2, the discovery. And the thrill is in the revelation. Writers like Lytton, Godwin, and Dickens continued the evolution. Their stories were about guilt, poverty, justice. The detective, he hadn't arrived yet. But the stages were set, and the reader was ready. From Oedipus to Shepherd, from sacred scrolls to prison pamphlets, crime fiction didn't appear overnight. It grew, layer by layer, lie by lie, clue by clue, until one day we were all holding the same thing, a question, and the will to uncover the truth. Because every crime has two stories, the act and the revelation. Before we end this video, did you love this deep dive into the origins of crime fiction? Subscribe for more literary investigations, twisted tales, and the secret history of the stories we love. Leave a comment. What's your favorite early crime tale? Until next time.